our growth has just been nonstop, which is all organic and natural. It's, we don't do any advertisement or anything. We just compete and train hard, and it's like a snowball effect of people who come in and train with us and join the school. And, our competition team itself has just been it's just been such a fun thing to watch the homegrown people become competitors, and to see other competitors, people who've trained and competed, join our school and then grow into whole new grapplers and start to believe in themselves and believe that they can be legitimate competitors. So to me, like the growth of the team is just massive.
What's that, Kyle?
That's my first gold. That's like 15 ADCC Opens. I finally won something. Here we go.
It's one thing to win individual medals, and to me this is as much as it is a individual sport, which obviously it is. Every time you step on the mat, it's just you versus someone else. There's a team element there that's always behind the scenes, and it's nice when every once in a while that becomes the center, when it becomes about the group of people you're with, not just you on the mat, but every single person. And you feel it too when you're rooting for your friend who's competing on the mat over, and then you have to go and you have to run from coaching right to your mat, and you do a match, and then you run back and you coach another mat. I love that stuff. It's stressful for sure. It's terrifying because you're running around like a crazy person, but it's like so much fun. We set the goal from 2023 to 2024. We said we're going to win the Chicago Open. When it comes here, our team without a doubt is going to win it, because we pride ourselves on our experiences in that rule set, because myself and Kyle have been traveling all over the world now at this point doing the ADCC. So we really wanted to make sure we brought the team title back, and we definitely, TJ was a big part of that. TJ got a gold medal for us. I got a gold medal. We had a lot of fun as a team. I mean, we brought, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 people. First year that they came to Chicago was 2023. And we ended up taking, I think, third as a team. New Wave took first. I think like 10th Planet. Lombard took second, then we took third. And we had a good team, but we didn't have a big, huge team. Very small. And then the next year, in 2024, we brought a big team out. And I think we smashed through it. We were by far first place.
fuck the kid who buggied me.
Three seconds, bro.
Good job, Ron.
My name is TJ Foley. I'm advanced and I've been training for about 7 years.
I've been training under Joey Diehl for almost 9 years. I'm currently training at RMMA and it's been a great time so far.
I want to say he was probably like 6 or 7 years old when I first met him. So TJ's been training with me since he was a little kid. And my first real memories of it was his dad came up to me, and it was back when we were doing some like kids mixed martial arts, like kids striking classes. And his dad hired me to come over to his house and do private boxing sessions with him and his brother, Orion. TJ was tiny, like legitimately this skinny. His arms are so tiny, his legs are so tiny. Adorable, same smile that he has now, like, but he's just a miniature person. He's like a super cute little kid, and but he loves striking. He was doing a lot more striking than I thought back then than jiu-jitsu. So I never really knew if he had a passion for jiu-jitsu or not.
At that point, I didn't really enjoy jiu-jitsu as much, and I started getting into striking. I was really enjoying striking, so I think after that, I kind of just started doing both. The earliest memories were probably getting like first stripes. When we get our first stripe, we'd always get flipped or tossed around and stuff. It was always fun.
And when we opened our school in 2021, him, his dad, and his brother, they all came and started training with us. I mean, he was still that like little kid. So, I mean, 2021, it was 4 years ago, so he was probably like 12. I think he's like 16 now. I've watched him now since since he's been in this building, kind of grow into like a little man. You know, he's gotten his muscles, he's grown taller, and his voice has changed. And to watch him really grow into himself, I love that stuff. I think that's what's really special about being a kids teacher, is we get that interesting phase from a 10-year-old to a 16-year-old is such a different person, and we got to see them kind of grow. And with TJ, I've been there like every step of the way since he was 6 years old.
I think my first tournament, I was 13 years old. It was at a Fuji tournament with my friend. It actually went pretty well. I think I got like 2 wins and 2 losses, so it wasn't too bad. I probably have about 15, 20, 25 tournaments under my name. I've had my wins and losses. I definitely have learned a lot. I think it's more about the experience that I got back from those tournaments,
TJ had some of his struggles where I could see where he was just kind of looking for a way out to not do the next match. And having that conversation with him, talking to him as an adult, hey, you don't have to do this. We're doing this because we like it. And to have that register to him and kind of relay that reasoning on why he even signed up for the tournament, which is we're here to have some fun and try to learn. And I saw him overcome a really difficult tournament one time where he was struggling and wanted to quit. He was complaining about an injury that maybe wasn't that bad of an injury, but it was like a way out. I say, TJ, well, you're hurt. I'm not going to make you do it, but I promise you, if you don't do it, you're going to be upset with yourself and you're going to wish that you did it. And I can see the wheels turning in his head, and he's like, all right, I'll do it. And he went out and did awesome and finished the tournament with some wins. And I think that was the moment he really clicked to understand why we're doing what we're doing.
Definitely after a couple of tournaments of getting beat, I came back and I was just eager to learn and get better.
You know, the mental side of it is like, that's where the value is, especially for a young man, you know, like himself. It's like, he realized that he's a lot stronger than he thinks, just in a little moment like that. Whether he conceptualizes that or not, it's something that he internalized at that moment. And since then, all of his tournaments, he's done so much better. And it's just like a glass ceiling that just keeps getting pushed up on what he can deal with, you know, what challenges he can deal with. And he's got some tough divisions, being a younger guy, a younger kid in the advanced divisions. Some of these kids are phenomenal, you know, and TJ's up there with them, you know, but it's tough. It's not easy. So it's been fun to watch him, like, basically figure out his mental game. And he's right there at that age, right? At 16 years old now, he's getting into that phase of transitioning between the teens, kids divisions to the adults. You know, he's had those journeys. He's gotten to take some of those tournaments and compete against full-grown adults, which is really exciting. At least for me, it's exciting to see him, because I roll with him and I feel he's got the skills to do it. But you gotta also have the confidence. And I know, we've had some times, I think in the Chicago ADCC Open, where we put him in the adult advanced division, and he faced another black belt adult, and you could feel his lack of confidence before it, just being like, just gonna go out there and try my best, and not thinking he's gonna win, and then realizing as he touched someone and realized like, oh, I can actually do this, I can win, and that confidence builds as you grapple. So again, just another glass ceiling, where he doesn't really realize how good he can be.
I think I was more excited than nervous. I had him in guard. I was attempting submissions and sweeps and all that. I wasn't able to. He was kind of stalling in my guard, and I won off negative. And then second match, full guard. He got really close to passing my guard, but I was able to pull him into a straight ankle lock and finish his submission.
It's a feat that's very tough. If anyone knows the sport of it and how tough the ADCC Opens are. So for him to go out there and get a gold medal is super special.
He was a brown belt, but I came out victorious.
We just make up these borders on how good we can be based on other people's interpretations of how good we are, or our own self-doubt or whatever it is. But it's always nice when you see someone go, holy shit, I could win this. I could do better than I thought. I think he had that moment when he went against an adult for the first time. He actually then realized, like, oh man, the kids are harder.
You had one more super fight, I think, that
that
was your fight to win match. Was that your first ever super fight?
Yeah, that was my first super fight. I was definitely nervous due to that. Everybody's watching you, and it was a different feeling from just like a regular tournament.
The lights were on you and everything. Describe that feeling.
I don't think I ever felt something like that before. Yeah, I was nervous, just like stepping onto the mat and all the eyes are on you. Just a different feeling.
Please welcome TJ Foley.
Yeah. More pressure now. More pressure. Some initiation. Yes, good. Use that underhook.
3, 2, 1.
Your shot. Your shot. You gotta shoot right off of that. Let's go wrist snap. Two more. One switch attempt. Triangle.
1.
Triangle. Nice, up. Nice, good. Yeah. Flat drop.
I like to wrestle. You know, I don't pull guard that often. I like to get at it, try taking shots. You know, taking risks. Right after, I wanted to do another one.
Oh no, who would have thought? I remember when he was this big guy. I used to go to his house and hold pads for him when he was like this big.
When he was in a test tube, you look at him?
He was a test tube baby. What is this? He's a project.
He's a feminine.
He's feminine?
He's a specimen.
He is a specimen, that's the thing. Specimen. 20 seconds, guys. Big breath, recover. Try to make technical adjustments. That's what we're here for, too. Keep that in mind. You're not here to fight, you're here to crack. Break the camera in one kick. Bang. Fight your way out of the corner. Sometimes you gotta clinch into them. Nice, good. Keep your hands up.
For a while, I was training 2 times a day. Wake up, head to the club, train. After training 1 time a day, in the noon, I would eat, rest, and then train at night. Coach Kyle, he actually mentioned something, and it's just stuck with me. Like after training, you always feel great after training, and can't lie, you always do. It's just stuck with me. I try to think about that, like it comes up in my mind and stuff. Then I'll just come and train, just get it done.
Line against TJ. He's too good.
Heck TJ at all times.
I know, he's a wonder boy.
You. Why me? Actually, that's all gang up against Adrian.
He's over there. Hold him down, Carlos. We're gonna jump him. Hold him down, Carlos. We're jumping him. Hold him down. Hold him down. Hold him down. Get him. Get him. Get him. Get him. Hold him. Hold him. Hold him. That's what I was like. Find the arm drag. Thanks, brother. Thanks.
Nice. Crush his mask.
He already did.
Of course it's the head and arm with the mask on. Love it.
I will survive.
I already had all the time under my belt before I was 16, so right on my birthday, Coach Joey gave me my belt, and from then I've just been a blue belt. It was tough, but Coach Joey, he just put gloves on and he tried punching me. I had to defend myself, take him down, and it was more like self-defense based, so learning how to protect myself and like a test.
Because we haven't given your belt long. 2 years. Throw it on your shoulders, hold it up. Hold down. I'm tired. I didn't even train, I just tried to punch him. So guys, hopefully you guys see what the value of that is. It's not just fun, it is fun, but jiu-jitsu is only as valuable as you can use it in real life or in a real scenario. And that's not to say all of you guys should be MMA fighters. It's just, let's make sure that we don't lose sight of this as a martial art versus just a sport. Both are valuable, both are awesome. But always, let's make sure we can keep it honest, keep it real.
Where do you see yourself like in the next 5 years?
Definitely competing more, but maybe going more towards MMA.
Why does that tempt you?
You know, it's just a different feeling. I've been sparring recently a lot, and it's just, I found like a new love for grappling and fighting.
If he believes he can do it, he can do it. If he doesn't believe himself, it's a bad route. You know, MMA is, as much as I love MMA. It was my first love. It's the reason why I got into jiu-jitsu and grappling. But I view jiu-jitsu and grappling, it's a sport and a game, whereas fighting to me is not really a sport or a game. So it's as real as it gets. You know, it's a catchphrase for the UFC, but it's a real thing. So it's something that you don't take lightly. You got to take it very serious. And you know, if that's something he wants, you know, he's going to have to step up to that. He's going to have to rise to that occasion when it comes to his training. But if you're going to be a professional fighter, you're going to need to dedicate your time to it. And you know, if that's what he wants, I will be here every day and I'll help him every single day. But he's got to make that decision. So it's a choice he'll make someday. And you know, he's still young. He's 16 years old now. If he wants to make it happen, he's got 2 years. By the time he turns 18, I think he'll be ready.
It makes me like push myself, you know? I really want to compete more and get after it. It's been great, you know? I mean, I remember when we first started, when we first moved to this building, you know, it was pretty small and there wasn't a whole lot of people, but now we've seriously grown into a great great community, great school.
Where do you see it going?
You see it getting bigger, you know. I think in the next couple of years, we're gonna be the best in the Midwest. Everybody's just, everyone's got that dog in there. Everyone's training hard and everyone pushes each other to keep training and, you know, like if you miss out on a day, you're just like, damn, they're getting better than me. So you just gotta keep training.
So I was like, you could just use it like a 2-syllable thing. You know, so it could just be like, narrow, body conscious.
Stop, Joey. I love you, Joey.
But what's it called? I want you to just get me doing finger guns, right? So and I do that. I'm gonna do that. Okay. I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna be like in slow motion, but I'm gonna obviously go fast. Ready? Ready? Yep. 2. All right, there you go. And then Yimmy, come over here. I want you to do the same thing, right? Yeah. Okay, I'll be with you. Because without shirt? Nah, he just has a strap. Oh yeah. No, it doesn't matter though. Nah, it's Harper.
Bro, I look like shit, bro.
Dude, what is going on? Why is he got a shirt? There's no reason for him to take his shirt off.
Yo, I found a video of Topuria, bro, winning a fight, and then he did the sassiest.
See, you were actually in the frame right there. You ruined the entire video. No,
no, we can edit that.
I'm just kidding. It deletes the video.
You ruined it all! My fiance's grandma.